Hi, good morning, and welcome to 30 Days of Transformation. Today, I think it's day 9, but I think I might have missed a day somewhere, so sorry about that. So today, I thought, I was thinking through everything we've been going over with some COPA and positive habit building and limiting negative self-talk. And what I was thinking was that one place that we could go now is to look at some really practical tips and what are some things that that I do in my life. People ask me that a lot, like, how do you meditate and do everything, and how do you fit it all into your life? And I thought, well, why don't I just talk about that today? um, so so I'm here with my kitty and we'll talk about a few of the things that have been helpful for me. So one thing I want to preface this with is that everybody I know is really busy and has a super busy life, myself included. I, I do most of like the house sort of stuff and for my family. I have a son, and my husband works a lot. He works 9 or 10 hours many days of the week. And so, I'm kind of the one that gets, and we're real like particular about eating good food. We don't like to eat out that much. So, I do a lot of the cooking. I do a lot of the house stuff. I drive my son to carpool and stuff. And, so there's a lot of like responsibilities I have in my life. And we all do. We all have that, so then how do you figure it out? How do you make it work? And also I have this incredibly erratic, ridiculous schedule where some days I'm gone, I'm gone for 2 or 3 or 4 days. I'm out of town sometimes because teaching workshops, or I work on very intensely on weekends. I see clients. I work out of my house a lot. I write articles. I'm working on a bunch of articles right now. I do a lot of like interviews and stuff. So there's all these things that I do that make my schedule incredibly erratic. And so I have to figure out ways to bring things in. It's so much easier in some ways if you just have a regular job, a 9-to-5 kind of situation, because then you can really work around it. But whatever, we all have challenges, and I love my life and I love my, ridiculous schedule and all the great things I get to do. So it's a trade-off, right? So one of the things that comes with me, this first bullet point I want to talk about is meditation, and one of the things that comes with me when I travel are beads. Either these or I always have mala beads around. So this is not just spiritual bling, although it might seem like that to some people, but actually there's a method. You don't use your index finger. There's a method. You use your right hand. And you say a mantra with each bead. So it might look like spiritual bling, or it might look like, just your accessories. But actually there's a rationale for it. So it's one breath and one mantra. And the mantra's on the inhale and the exhale internally, right? You can chant outside if you want. Chant out loud if you want. And some people will do like Om Namah Shivaya on their mala beads, or, whatever, the Maha Mantra of the Vaishnavas, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. But whatever mantra you're using, you can also do a short prayer or a positive intention. So you can use anything with these. These are such a great little low-tech tool. They don't require any apps or anything. You just wear them on your wrist, and nobody knows when you're doing your mantra. And that's a great practice. It's called Ardha Japa, actually, which means half. Ardha means half, and then Japa means that repetition of mantra. So, and it gives you something to do with your hands, like a lot of people like knitting or crocheting, something that you do with your hands, really helpful. And the other technique I love to use is Nyasa, where you count your mantra like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and those are each with a breath: 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, you leave this one out because it's the finger of ego. That's why you don't count mantra with it. So there's other ways of doing Nyasa too. Some people do like a spiral Nyasa, but that 12 mantras, right? And you can do it 3 or 4 times, and you've done 12 mantras, and nobody knows, what you're doing. So those are great little things to tuck into your day as little mindful reminders. Now, I also put a link up here for Insight Timer, which I don't use personally, but a lot of clients I have use Insight Timer, really like it. It's a very well-known, popular meditation app. The problem, of course, with popularity is popular and good are often not the same thing. So, or popular and best are often not the same thing. So it does make sense to do some searching for other meditation apps and find one that works really well for you. There's other things I've used like binaural beats. I don't know if you know about that, but you can get apps where you get these different beats into you use headphones and you get beeps like this across, which is so powerful because you're going, you're doing this bilateral stimulation. This is also used with EMDR. That's why I'm moving my fingers like this, where the eyes go back and forth. And hearing it in the ears is useful. I do a lot of this stuff of training with people of how to use asanas, the contralateral movements in asanas. Very similar effect. What it does is create more connectivity in the white matter, which is sort of the ends of the neurons, and they hook down across the corpus callosum, which is the structure of the brain that connects the hemispheres, helps to create more focus, more attention networks, and also to create more symmetry in the hemisphere. So real positive usefulness of these bilateral this kind of bilateral stimulation. So bilateral stimulation is fantastic to engage in some form regularly. Okay, so I talked about meditation a little bit. I only have a couple minutes left, so I have 2 more bullet points. Use your Google Calendar. So one of the things I like to do is put right into my Google Calendar that I'm going to go to this class at this time in the week. I put right into my calendar, this is when my meditation time is, or my asana time. So Google Calendar is a powerful tool, and use it and then follow it, And then my last bullet point for today is that afternoon reset. And I think, wow, it's so important for us to take a little time after lunch. In India, they say, after lunch, rest a while. After dinner, walk a mile. Isn't that great? So after lunch, rest a while. Take a little time after lunch to do some kind of restorative practice. So that might be getting your bolster out and doing a restorative pose. It might be just you have a place set up somewhere in your house or in your office where you've got your yoga mat and your bolster, and all you do is lie down, put your feet up your chair or put your feet up on a bed. Something where you're really taking a good 10 minutes to reset. And this is an amazing, it's been one of the most transformative things in my life, is to make time for that afternoon reset, because it really helps you to live the rest of your day really wonderfully, and to be productive, and and be able to do what you need to do without just that complete exhaustion that often, right? What happens? You get exhausted and then you get the cup of coffee, right? And then the cup of coffee is, the cup of coffee takes over, and then you might feel okay for a while, but then you may have trouble sleeping that night because you got too much caffeine in your system. So afternoon reset, I think, works almost as well as that. So I hope these are practical tools that are helpful for you today. I think as we proceed over the next few days, I'll probably go into a little bit of neurobiology. I'm teaching neurobiology this weekend in Knoxville. I'd love you to join me for that. So a few days ago, I asked you to think about and implement one positive practice for body, mind, spirit every day. And so I'd love to hear how that's going in the comments. If you could share how your journey is going right now. We're about a third of the way through. That would be great. And I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.